Luo Feng floated in space. The 216 10,000 kilometers long space serpent-like vines madly surrounded the assassin in the center. Countless vines and branches also wrapped around him. As one of the vine's branches pressed the button on the E9 grade laser gun, a glaring white beam of light struck Kosil's body. The high temperature caused the surrounding vines to burn, however it didn't pierce through him. The E9 grade laser gun can kill a normal sector lord level 9. However, it doesn't have a 100% chance of killing any sector lord pinnacle level 9. Luo Feng was very clear on this point. To be able to make a move within the Wulong starfield, this assassin had definitely been hiding for a long time. The moment he made a move, it would definitely be shocking. To be killed that easily, Luo Feng didn't believe it at all. Come, let's see what other moves you have. Let's see how far you can force my battle plan to evolve. Luo Feng stared at the silhouette under the white beam of light. Rumble. Kosil's expression was pale as he crashed into the large amounts of vine branches behind him. Vine, kill him. Luo Feng ordered. Rustle. Countless vines intersected and slid through space, covering the sky and land as they wrapped around Kosil. Kosil knew very well that the clowscraper vine was a very difficult plant to deal with. Many people with powerful backgrounds in the human domain were keen to raise a clowscraper vine to protect themselves at all times. Its large body and cellular activity made it a terrifying existence. Luo Feng's cloud contact vine was one of the best nurtured ones. It had a total of 216 vines. At sector lord level, every vine's maximum length could reach 30,000 kilometers. Its thickness could normally reach 300 kilometers. Of course, there was no need to use it in normal battles. A sector lord level 6 high-level cloud contact vine was extremely tough. Even if a sector lord level 9 were to destroy it, the destruction speed wouldn't be able to keep up with its own recovery speed. Ah. Against the endless vines that covered the sky and land, Kosil's expression was twisted as he let out the craziest roar. What are you roaring for before you die? Luo Feng stood in the distance watching from afar. Suddenly, rumble, an incredibly terrifying energy, almost like an ant meeting a god dragon, it covered the skies and earth as it emanated, causing Luo Feng's expression to change greatly. Simultaneously, Kosil's location exploded with flames, causing the space there to become a sea of fire. Large amounts of vines and leaves were swiftly burnt to ashes. Many thick and long vines began to twitch and twist. The cloud contact vine too sent a simple thought to Luo Feng. Terrifying, it couldn't hold on any longer. With Kosil at the center, everything within 30 kilometers was reduced to ashes. Many of the cloud contact vine's main vines were heavily injured, and no longer dared to approach Kosil. Endless flames burned in the starry sky of the universe. There were two figures in the flames. One of them was Kosil, who was in a state of madness due to his injuries, and the other was the center of the endless flames. He was 12 meters tall and he wore a simple black armor. The armor did not cover his entire body, and his arms were still bare. His arms were covered with lush red hair, and his face was covered with a red mane. His eyes were burning like flames. Fire Undying. No, it's an Undying. In the distant space, Luo Feng watched this scene. Looking at the Undying within the endless sea of flames, he felt the immense pressure and the undying energy that emanated and pressed down on his body. The undying energy was like a huge mountain pressing down on Luo Feng. Under the pressure of the undying energy, he couldn't resist at all. It's actually an Undying. This assassin actually brought an Undying with him. He definitely hid the Undying within his internal world. Luo Feng squinted. Just what kind of power is this, to be able to hide within the Wulong starfield? My guess is right, this assassin's true trump card is definitely terrifying. It was terrifying. Terrifying enough to make one go crazy. An Undying. 6. The reason why he was able to be ranked number 1 amongst the chess pieces in the Wulong starfield was because within his internal world, there was always an Undying. This Undying had his soul invaded and controlled by the Bug Clan. As his identity was exposed back then, he was unable to hide and was lucky enough to escape from the God Country back to the Bug Clan territory. Without any hidden value, these controlled alien Undyings were usually used as cannon fodder, as weapons. To place an Undying within the chess piece's internal world, at the most crucial moment he would be able to fight. If one wanted to acquire a technological weapon that could kill an Undying, the price would be shockingly high. And these controlled alien normal Undyings were much more valuable. And a sector lord wielding a technological weapon in battle would probably not be a match for a true Undying. This was SIX's true killing move. It was also the killing move the Bug Clan organization had prepared for Luo Feng. Emperor Long Ke, quickly come save me, there's an internal member bringing an Undying to assassinate me. Luo Feng immediately connected to the virtual universe network and swiftly sent a mail to Long Ke, repeating it 10 times. Long Ke Emperor was currently in the outermost palace of the Wulong starfield, discussing business with someone. This is the purchase price of the goods, 10 million mixed elements. This 10% is 1 million mixed elements. It's a small reward for making you busy. A bald old man shrouded in a black long robe, his voice was extremely familiar, smiling as he spoke. You want to get 10 million mixed elements worth of goods? That won't be easy. Long Ke Emperor frowned. You should know that anything over 1 million isn't something I can handle alone. As it had to be entered into the accounts, there would be detailed records. What so-and-so bought and how much it cost. For example, Luo Feng buying the Bug Clan corpses for 1 million mixed elements, this was recorded, it would be checked in detail. Hence, to eliminate the possibility of buying in batches, not just anyone had the right to buy, one had to have some status and authority. If he bought 1 million mixed elements at a time, divided into 10 batches, it would probably be able to get huge benefits. However, the virtual universe company, Battleaxe Coliseum and the other 5 great powers couldn't possibly have such a huge loophole in their management. Their checks were extremely strict. The moment there was serious corruption, the consequences would be dire. Long K Emperor, you and I have over 10,000 years of friendship. This time I too want to seriously craft a weapon. How about this? 15% of the intermediate fees, I'll give it to you. As for how you'll negotiate with the other 4 in charge, how much it'll cost, it'll all be up to you. It's all up to you, King Longju. The black-robed bald old man's eyes seemed to be twirling like the starry sky as he said softly. Wait a moment. Long K Emperor frowned, muttering within, who sent me 10 emails consecutively? His consciousness connected to the virtual universe network, entering his palace on Thunder Island. Standing within the palace, he gently opened space and a screen appeared. On it was a mail. Long K Emperor, quickly come save me, there's an internal member bringing an Undying to assassinate me. Oh. Long K Emperor was shocked. Luo Feng assassinated? Long K opened another screen and immediately pulled out the entire Wulong Starfield surveillance map, giving an order to the security system. Someone has been assassinated in Wulong Starfield, quickly find out. No matter what, he had to first find out the exact location before sending people, because the security system used white and red dots to indicate if it was an internal member or an external member. However, there were many within, there was no way to confirm which red dot was Luo Feng, he could only rely on where the battle was. The security system scanned through all the surveillance points in Wulong Starfield. There's no battle. The security system replied. Long K Emperor was stunned, however he immediately understood, ordering, are there any surveillance points damaged? B2446, 56,453, 13,202, 96,233 surveillance points have malfunctioned, B2446, 56 has left 36 seconds ago to repair it. The security system replied, this slow speech. In truth, when Luo Feng sent the mail, only 4 seconds had passed. However, Long K Emperor himself opened the mail slowly, along with the security system's reply, only 32 seconds had passed. It's here. There's an assassination at this surveillance point. Long K shouted. Connect to the 2 leaders. The security system automatically responded. I want you to immediately send people to save him. Long K roared anxiously. Long K Emperor, your authority isn't enough, the security system has to follow the procedure. The security system continued to connect to the surveillance point, the 2 leaders that followed Luo Feng, connecting again and again, it lasted a total of 20 seconds with no success. Only then did it send an order to a universe knight. This was an AI. Even for a living AI like Babata, the moment its master gave an order, it had to rigidly follow the order, it couldn't be disobeyed. This Wulong Starfield security system was the same, as some of the requirements were set by the 5 great powers, hence it had to be followed. Without rules, nothing could be accomplished. The army had its rules. This security system naturally had some rigid rules, it seemed rigid, however without them, the management would be chaotic, and it could cause even more losses in the future. And with these rigid rules, even if there were losses, it would still be within an acceptable range. By the time the universe knight and the other beings rush over, there'll be 90 seconds. Luo Feng, I hope you can survive. If you die, that Undying won't be able to escape. Even if he uses the God Country transfer to escape, the space ripples left behind by the God Country transfer, at least 60 seconds after the transfer, with the power of the universe knight, he'll still be able to confirm the God Country space coordinates, he'll definitely be able to avenge you. Long K thought, let's see how long you can last. Within Wulong Starfield. The Undying within the endless flames turned to look at Kosil beside him. Undying, you have 80 seconds, you have to kill Luo Feng within 80 seconds. Otherwise the absolute warriors of humanity will arrive. Kosil's eyes were filled with madness, simultaneously he swiftly communicated using his world energy. You can die now. A low voice resounded within Kosil's mind. Rumble. Kosil was immediately burnt to ashes by the origin law-infused flames. This Undying was hiding within his internal world, it was his final trump card. The moment this trump card was used, it represented the final moment. The Bug Clan definitely wouldn't let Kosil live, allowing the humans to search his soul and find out about the Bug Clan's secrets. Human. The tall Undying within the flames turned to look at Luo Feng. Under the endless pressure, Luo Feng couldn't move. You can die too. Rumble. The endless flames immediately expanded, almost like a god dragon formed from flames, immediately engulfing the 10,000 kilometers area, burning towards Luo Feng. This flame was infused with the fire origin laws. Only a Fire Undying that had truly comprehended the fire origin laws could easily control this level of flame. The flame domain was the God Country, a true origin law domain. Even though it couldn't compare to a true God Country, it was at least much stronger than a sector Lord Pinnacle's world projection. When Undyings fought, some were fire gods, some were earth gods, some controlled the fire, some controlled the earth, these were all origin law domains. Gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, lightning, light, these 8 origin laws were of the same level, hence the origin law domains were the same too. Hence Undyings didn't care about controlling the origin law domains. However, If an Undying killed sector lords, domain lords etc., he could directly use the origin law domain to bully others. This was a domain that only those that had truly comprehended an origin law could have. Howl? A howl tore through the endless space and resounded. Its entire body was covered in black scales, almost like a continuous mountain range of enormous beasts. The pinnacle space beast golden horned beast appeared before Luo Feng. When this golden horned beast appeared before Luo Feng, its body length was over 200 kilometers, and when it appeared, its body was still shrinking. Pai Li Palan, the density of its body was constantly shrinking, the scales were shrinking, the bones were shrinking, the density was increasing, the 5 horns on its head too were shrinking. In an instant, it became a giant star beast with a body length of more than 100 kilometers. Deities of the world second level, small completion. The body length and height had shrunk by 5 times, and its density had exploded by over 100 times. The golden horned beast's body strength and battle strength had exploded by 5 times. If the second level of deities of the world was completed, its battle strength could explosively increase by 9 times, and if it reached the third level, it could explosively increase by 36 times. However, this technique, the smaller the golden horned beast was, the easier it was to train. As its strength grew, it got harder and harder. Many golden horned beasts only managed to train the first level in their entire lives. There were very few who could master the second level. As for the third level, was a legend. LuoFeng's golden horned beast was already sector lord level 6. To improve deities of the world was extremely difficult, and the requirements to train it were extremely harsh. Even the current Luo Feng didn't have a way. Golden horned beast? The Fire Undying stared in shock at the distant golden horned beast. What a strong aura, it should be a sector lord pinnacle golden horned beast. I heard that pinnacle sector lord golden horned beasts are 1,000 kilometers long. This golden horned beast must have used some technique to shrink itself. The human actually has a golden horned beast protecting him. I wonder if this golden horned beast is a soul slave he controls, or a helper his teacher True Yen Emperor arranged for him. The flame Undying guessed. However, even a sector lord pinnacle golden horned beast will die. The Fire Undying's eyes were burning with flames. Boom. The law flame was like a huge fire dragon, charging towards the golden horned beast. Facing the endless flames, the golden horned beast let out an angry roar. Rumble. Suddenly, the starry sky within a radius of 10,000 kilometers transformed into a world of endless mountains. The powerful projection world directly suppressed the burning flames of law. The flames of law also burned the surrounding mountains into ashes, but the projection world continued to condense. The law flames continued to burn. The projection world continued to condense. Both of them were actually in a stalemate. How can there be such a powerful world projection? The Fire Undying's expression changed. It's actually on par with an origin domain. It said that the internal worlds of the devouring space beasts are huge. However, this world projection is too strong. The power of the world projection depended on how strong the internal world was. Under normal circumstances, the moment the origin domain was unleashed, the sector lord's world projection would shatter like a bubble, unable to resist at all. And for the world projection to be on par with an origin domain, that was something that was almost impossible to happen. A human pinnacle sector lord's internal world was usually only about 10,000 kilometers in diameter, and LuoFeng's was over 60 million kilometers in diameter. It was even larger than many pinnacle golden horned beasts. Normally, sector lord pinnacle golden horned beasts with a diameter of 30 million kilometers. Unleashing the world projection, they could barely defend against the origin domain. Maybe they would be at a disadvantage, but they could still defend. And at this time, LuoFeng's world projection and origin domain were on par. 60 million kilometers and 10,000 kilometers, the ratio was 6,000 times. It was like the ratio of China's territory to a small village. The projection of China's territory and the projection of a small village, the difference in power was like the difference between heaven and earth. Howl? The golden horned beast roared. Choosing the hardest path, there would definitely be rewards. At least, the incomparably huge internal world allowed it to have a world projection that defied the heavens. It didn't fear the Undyings at all. It's no use. The origin domain is just a subsidiary. When Undyings fight, they don't use their origin domain. The Fire Undying roared too, immediately becoming a flame beam and rushing towards the golden horned beast. Howl? The golden horned beast however raised its head and roared. The golden engravings on the 5 horns on its forehead lit up. The golden engravings on its head, neck, back, for hooves, scales and wings all lit up. Not just that, even its right claw swiftly transformed, becoming thick and sturdy. The scales changed too, the color of the scales also swiftly turning gold. Natural ability, strengthen. Blood river energy activate. The natural ability allowed the golden horned beast to amplify its entire body by 2 times. Its body strength, world energy etc. were all the same. Under the activation of the blood river energy, its entire body strength was concentrated. Its right claw could explode with 11 times its strength. Deities of the world amplified by 5 times, its natural ability amplified by 2 times. The blood river energy amplified by 11 times, the nameless manual amplified its body fitness by 3 times. Under the golden horned beast's terrifying right claw, it could be said to be 330 times stronger than a normal golden horned beast sector lord level 6 without using its natural ability. A normal golden horned beast sector lord level 6 wasn't any weaker than a human sector lord pinnacle. 330 times of amplification. And the golden horned beast's world energy, with its spirit energy amplification of over 3,232 times that of a normal person, its natural ability amplification of 2 times, it resulted in a world energy amplification of 64 times. However, comparing the two, the golden horned beast was obviously stronger in its body. The world projection could resist the law domains, hence it had the right to fight fairly. Howl, the golden horned beast roared even more madly, at the same time welcoming the incoming Undying. It waved its powerful golden right claw, at the same time it could clearly feel the gold laws, space laws etc. through the beast god's skull roaring, and following the beast god mentality it had cultivated for 180 years in the canyon, it unleashed its strongest claw, tearing sky claw. Rumble, the universe space ripped apart, layers of space began to break apart, forming a chaotic space flow. Even the golden horned beast is just a sector lord, you dare stop me, go die. A huge blade appeared in the Fire Undying's hand, the blade was burning with flames, following that reckless slash. The universe space was also ripped apart, many layers of space were broken. This move contained the complete fire laws as well as a portion of space laws. It was extremely strong. Using Undying energy to activate this move, it was extremely terrifying. Rumble. The golden right claw collided with the huge flaming saber. However, in front of the right claw, the flame blade was as small as a toothpick. A normal sector lord pinnacle warrior had 330 times the pure body strength, even though the world energy's usage was far from the right claw, but when it was infused, its power would increase by a few folds. Then relying on the beast god head roaring diagrams 10 times amplification, it could unleash a terrifying claw infused with the beast god intent. The golden horned beast's strongest move. And even though the Fire Undying was a very normal Undying, it was still an Undying, it was still very different from sector lords. Sector lord pinnacle golden horned beasts, only a few of them could match up to normal Undyings, most of them could only choose to flee. Rumble. The huge golden horned beast and the Fire Undying were both sent flying to the sides. The powerful clash caused the universe space to crack once more. That terrifying force pierced through the cracks and into the space layers. Its entire body strength is 330 times that of a normal sector lord pinnacle, and with the beast god head roaring diagrams amplification, the origin laws can be amplified by 10 times, and that condensed true god intent, it's actually still not enough to defeat a normal Undying. LuoFeng was shocked by the difference between sector lord and Undying. An Undying can't even defeat a sector lord level golden horned beast? The Fire Undying was shocked too. Following which, howl, the golden horned beast roared and charged again. Kill. The Fire Undying went berserk too, madly slaughtering. The scales on the golden horned beast's body shattered, gold blood splattered everywhere. The right claw waved, the Undying's black armor too shattered, the armor shards flew everywhere, the layer of red fur on his body was torn, his muscles were torn, the gold blood splattered everywhere. Rumble. The golden horned beast was knocked into the countless bug corpses. Rumble. The Fire Undying was knocked into the countless bug corpses in space too. It was hard to tell who would win. One had an internal world with a diameter of 60 million kilometers, and had trained in the Nameless Manual and absorbed 100 blood river crystals, the special golden horned beast. The other was a normal Fire Undying. One had completely comprehended the fire laws and a small portion of the space laws. One had a large portion of the gold and space laws, and had the beast god intent as well as the beast god head roaring diagrams amplification by 10 times. Rumble. Rumble. A golden horned beast and a Fire Undying fought within the countless bug corpses. Every second they exchanged hundreds to thousands of blows, fast as lightning. The golden horned beast's shattered scales, the Fire Undying's shattered skin and flesh, gold blood, all of it splattered everywhere. The battle has already lasted for 50 seconds. The Fire Undying raged. Kosil said that we have to kill Luo Feng within 80 seconds. However, that human is protected by the internal world of the golden horned beast. If we don't kill the golden horned beast, we won't be able to kill Luo Feng. There's not enough time. The Fire Undying, as a soul-controlled slave, would definitely disregard everything and fight according to his master's orders. Shio. The Fire Undying once again charged at the golden horned beast. The golden horned beast roared and waved its terrifying gold right claw, the moment the two clashed. Yeah. The Fire Undying's expression was twisted, his red fur trembled, he roared, his eyes filled with madness. Golden horned beast, go and die, explode. 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 Self-destruct, this is definitely an Undying controlled by his soul. Luo Feng was shocked. Howl. The golden horned beast let out a painful howl, under the sudden self-destruct attack of an Undying at such a close distance. There was no time to dodge at all. Training to Undying was extremely difficult. An Undying's true energy was no less than a star. This self-destruction, the Undying energy accumulated over trillions of years instantly exploded. If it self-destructed, how could it leave any Undying energy behind? Plus this was a Fire Undying. Rumble, it was hundreds and thousands of times hotter than the law flames, even the space fragments were instantly melted into particles. It was as though a supernova had exploded in an instant, the power it produced was simply unimaginable. And the golden horned beast who was the closest was naturally the first to be affected by this terrifying explosion. The golden right claw was the toughest part of the golden horned beast's body. If the golden horned beast's overall strength was raised by 330 times, then the rest of its body was actually only raised by 30 times, and the golden right claw was thousands or even tens of thousands of times stronger than a normal claw, hence on average its overall strength was raised by 330 times. The golden right claw that was raised by so much was even tougher than many undying weapons. In front of this terrifying explosion of particles, even the universe space itself melted, however the golden right claw still managed to withstand it. Chi chi chi. Howl, the golden horned beast howled in pain. The neck and abdomen that were closest to the golden right claw suffered the impact. The black scales on the neck and abdomen immediately became fiery red and then turned to dust. Chi chi chi, the thick and powerful intertwining muscles within, the energy that could tear apart the universe space came from these muscles. However, in front of this Fire Undying's explosion of particles, these muscles were instantly burnt to dust. The internal organs within were instantly burnt to dust. The golden bones were obviously much stronger than the muscles and scales, they were slowly changing color, the original golden color was gradually dimming. The particle shockwave from the self-detonation spread in all directions. The golden horned beast was only one of the directions, the other directions were large amounts of Sector Lord Pinnacle bug corpses. These corpses were after all Pinnacle Sector Lord bug corpses, their scales were incredibly tough. Even with an E9 grade laser gun, it was hard to penetrate the carapace of a corpse. This was mainly because the bug corpses were dead, they didn't have any energy infused into the carapace. A true Sector Lord insectoid warrior had even stronger defenses. The corpse was much weaker but it was still not to be underestimated. Hence, the explosion should have been able to spread over 10 million kilometers. However, the surroundings were filled with countless Sector Lord peak bug corpses. When the scorching particle flow slammed into those corpses, they instantly melted into ashes. The particle flow continued to blast in all directions, causing large amounts of corpses to be incinerated. Some turned into shrapnel and flew in all directions. The explosion affected an area of tens of thousands of kilometers. Within 100 kilometers, the Sector Lord peak bug corpses were all turned to dust. Between 100 kilometers and 10,000 kilometers, some were even more broken. Most of them were just blown far away, not much damage was done. After all, after going through layers and layers of Sector Lord Pinnacle bug defense, even if an Undying exploded, how many layers could it penetrate? However, the golden horned beast with a body length of 100 kilometers was suffering the most terrifying shockwave. The strongest duration of the self-detonation was only 0.01 seconds. After that, the shockwave of the explosion immediately began to rapidly weaken. Even the collapsed universe space automatically repaired itself. What he saw was, under the weak burning flames, the golden horned beast was trembling in mid-air. The current golden horned beast looked like a skeleton golden horned beast. Its entire body was only left with its right claw, tail tip and the edge of its wings, covered in a layer of scales. The main body parts were only left with those dim bones, even its head was left with only the skull and 5 horns. Too terrifying. This power is actually so strong that even the golden horned beast can't take it, becoming a skeleton, LuoFeng thought. At the same time, the skeleton golden horned beast was still swiftly flying into the distance. At the same time, about 80,000 kilometers away from the golden horned beast, there were a few shattered pieces of the cloud contact vine. However, within the shattered pieces, there were a few vines wrapped around an entire bug corpse a few km away. At the core of these vines was a bug clan scale. Shwa. The scale immediately switched to LuoFeng's earth body. So, LuoFeng swiftly flew towards the distant skeleton golden horned beast. When the two got close, the golden horned beast vanished and entered the internal world. Yes. LuoFeng's true core wasn't even within the golden horned beast's body before. When LuoFeng discovered assassin number 6 Kosil, he wanted to use this battle to test himself. However, he was very clear, to be able to sneak into the Wulong starfield and assassinate him, his methods were definitely not simple. To prevent himself from playing with fire and losing his life. Hence, when LuoFeng made his battle plan, the first thing he considered was, the moment he couldn't beat his opponent, what would he do? Before considering victory, he would first consider failure. LuoFeng unleashed the cloud contact vine fiercely, causing the 216 main vines to spread over 10,000 kilometers. Actually, back then LuoFeng had already turned the Masha clansman into a leaf and attached it to one of the main vines, and placed the core within the Masha clansman. Moreover, when the main vine became 10,000 kilometers long, there was actually another reason. It was to send the Masha clansman vine leaf tens of thousands of km away from the battlefield. The vine leaf hid within the group of Sector Lord bug corpses. The instant it entered the corpses, the Masha clansman vine leaf became the scale armor of the bug race. Mixed within the corpses, it didn't stand out at all. And when the Fire Undying appeared, it immediately caused large amounts of the vines to explode, shrapnel flying everywhere. At this time, the Fire Undying wouldn't even care about the scale shrapnel in the bug corpses 10,000 kilometers away. After all, the surrounding bug corpses were endless, there was no way to suspect it at all. After which, the world projection expanded to 10,000 kilometers away. Simultaneously, the golden horned beast appeared and LuoFeng's earth body immediately entered the internal world. The golden horned beast against the Fire Undying, it allowed LuoFeng to test out his strength. If he succeeded, it would be a joyous occasion. If he failed, then the golden horned beast would immediately self-destruct. He would only lose one body, at most he could use some more world energy to nurture another golden horned beast in the internal world. As for the blood river energy within the right claw, If he could get the right claw's remains after the battle, that would naturally be a good thing. He could absorb it into the new golden horned beast's body. If the enemy took the right claw away, at most he would use another 100 blood river crystals to absorb it into the golden horned beast. No matter if I succeed or fail, I'm invincible. And if the situation really goes awry, and I meet an incredibly strong enemy, when the golden horned beast dies in battle, I can still throw my earth body out. At the same time, I can randomly throw out a few items from my space ring, pretending that my internal world is collapsing and use my earth body to let the enemy kill me. I'll let the enemy think I've really been killed. LuoFeng thought. That was the worst possible situation. Only an enemy that could force the golden horned beast to self-destruct wouldn't be able to kill him. Would LuoFeng choose this method? And no matter what, the Masha clansman's bug carapace would definitely hide within the endless bug corpse ocean. Any sudden situation, LuoFeng had a plan to deal with it. Anyway, with the Masha clansman, golden horned beast, earth body and the incomparably huge world projection, he could come up with many plans. Damn. The Fire Undying self-destruction power is really strong. LuoFeng surveyed his surroundings. It was a vast expanse. In the distance he could see the burnt bug corpses. The origin law flames from before, the self-destruction etc. had destroyed at least close to 1,000 bug corpses. The main thing was that these bug corpses were too concentrated, and they had no energy left from when they were alive. Such a huge loss? Close to 1,000 bug corpses, they're all Sector Lord Pinnacle bugs. LuoFeng's gaze swept. The Wulong starfield has discovered that they've lost close to 10 million mixed elements. They're probably furious. LuoFeng had a thought. Immediately his body flashed. He directly flew hundreds of km away, at the same time spreading out his internal world, sweeping up 300 Sector Lord insectoid corpses and hiding them in his internal world. Anyway, I've already lost close to 1,000 Sector Lord bug corpses. Even if I had 300 more, I wouldn't be able to tell. LuoFeng muttered within. At the same time he was overjoyed. 300 Sector Lord bug corpses, the actual purchase price was 3 million mixed elements, yet he got them just like that. Even though he had to spend quite a bit of world energy to recover the golden horned beast, that bit of energy consumption only added up to a few mixed elements. These 300 Sector Lord bug corpses were his biggest gains from this ambush. However, he didn't dare take too many. After all, too many could easily reveal flaws. It's considered compensation. If I didn't have the golden horned beast, I'd probably have died this time. This Wulong starfield's reaction system is simply too weak. I've already asked for help from Long K Emperor, yet not a single warrior has arrived. LuoFeng stood in the universe space, not doing anything, waiting silently. The battle with the Fire Undying lasted for 50 seconds. The strongest self-destruction didn't even last 0.01 seconds. The golden horned beast returned to the internal world, about 0.1 seconds. After which, LuoFeng surveyed his surroundings, thinking of casually getting 300 Sector Lord bug corpses, to actually sending them into his internal world. It took about 1 second. It was slow to describe, but in reality with a warrior like LuoFeng, his reaction speed was comparable to a quantum computer, instantly reaching over 10,000 kilometers per second. It was naturally as fast as lightning. After doing all this, LuoFeng silently waited in space as a victim. I'm the victim. LuoFeng muttered within. In the Wulong starfield, the various corpses, weapon remains, technological remains etc. from the race war were all categorized and arranged neatly in space. Only the 10,000 kilometers area where the Undyings had just fought was a mess. Even the Sector Lord bug clan corpses were scattered all over the place. About 10,000 kilometers away from LuoFeng, at the spot where the round monitoring device was, a human silhouette appeared. He was about 10 meters tall and wore a complicated and strange armor. The armor was purplish-black in color, and there were faint mysterious runes covering the entire armor, causing it to have an aura that caused the universe to tremble. The pair of high-top battle boots was the most eye-catching. Looking at them made one feel suffocated, as if they were looking at an endless mountain. Standing in space he was the ruler. He looked at the broken pieces of the round device beside him, after which he looked at LuoFeng and muttered, "The energy ripples, it's a Fire Undying." So, LuoFeng, who was originally standing in space, was shocked at the huge being that suddenly appeared. When he looked up, seeing the dark red eyes under the helmet of this being, his soul trembled. He couldn't help but bow respectfully. "Greetings, Universe Knight." With his experience in Primal Chaos City, he had seen many Emperor-level Undyings. Without a doubt, to be able to make his soul tremble like this, it was definitely a Universe Knight-level being. "You are LuoFeng?" A rumbling voice resounded within the universe, resounding within LuoFeng's mind. "Yes." LuoFeng said respectfully. "Just what happened here, tell me the details." The Universe Knight looked down at the young punk before him. Before, the Wulong Starfield's AI had sent him a message, telling him to immediately head out. At the same time LuoFeng and the other 3 internal members' information had been sent to him. "Yes, Knight." LuoFeng said respectfully, "I'm here to purchase the Bug Clan corpses. Before, under the guidance of 2 guides, I was inspecting the Bug Clan corpses one by one. However, just now, I coincidentally met another internal member of the Wulong Starfield. He too was dressed in a white robe. His name is Kosil. The 2 guides that led me knew him. It is very rare to meet another inner member in the Wulong Star region. So, my 2 guides were very happy and happily chatted with Kosil. But It was at this moment that my AI told me that it sensed that the monitoring signals in the surrounding area had suddenly disappeared. LuoFeng's eyes flashed as he said seriously, and at this time, that Kosil suddenly attacked without any warning. At such a close distance and without any preparation, my two leaders were instantly killed. The Universe Knight gazed at Luo Feng and listened quietly, not saying anything. Luo Feng was nervous within. He was very clear that he had to answer seriously and carefully. This Wulong Starfield was an important place for the entire human race. Those who were stationed here were all at the level of Universe Venerables. They definitely wouldn't allow him to challenge the rules of Wulong Starfield. Then Kosil attacked me. Luo Feng emphasized, however, after reaching Domain Lord level and being sent out by the Virtual Universe Company, I know I'll meet with danger sometimes. Of course I'll arrange for some backup. In the world I brought with me there were 10 Sector Lord Guards. At that time, I immediately summoned them out and let my support plant life form Cloud Contact Vine help them to deal with Kosil. It looked like I could easily kill Kosil, however. Before Kosil died, he released a Fire Undying from his internal world. Luo Feng said, I didn't expect that Kosil's internal world actually had a Fire Undying. This is simply too terrifying. The Universe Knight continued to listen quietly. The moment this Fire Undying came out, the first thing he did was to kill Kosil. This made me incredibly shocked and suspicious. Luo Feng said seriously, after killing Kosil he immediately followed up with killing my 10 Sector Lord Guards. However, that Undying didn't know that amongst the 10 one of them was my soul slave. Within that soul slave's internal world hid one of my killer moves, the automaton race's technological weapon code V1129, the Fire God Crystal. I immediately controlled him to use it. Luo Feng was very clear. The energy ripples from the Fire Undying's explosion and the traces it left behind definitely couldn't be hidden from the Universe Knight. Even normal Undyings could tell. Just how did he escape this? He had to have a detailed explanation, one that could be verified, otherwise he would be in trouble. Fire God Crystal? The Universe Knight's voice resounded, exploding within Luo Feng's mind. Fire God Crystal, one of the automaton race's technological weapons. As the most technologically advanced race in the universe, the automaton race was able to create weapons that could kill Undyings. However, these weapons were all ridiculously expensive. Especially those that could be used over and over again, their prices were ridiculously high. F-grade laser guns? Rumor had it that they cost over 100 million mixed elements. Even Emperor-level Undyings might not be willing to buy them. Other than the laser guns, these individual weapons, there were also group weapons. Like the Space Fortress God bases, these were all incredibly terrifying weapons used in the foreign battlefields. Even Emperor-level Undyings might not be able to afford them even if they sold their entire fortune. Of course, there were still some cheap weapons that could kill Undyings. Those were disposable items. For example, the Fire God Origin Crystal. Fire was the most explosive type of energy, and the Fire God Origin Crystal was one of the easier to buy weapons to kill Undyings. It compressed large amounts of Fire Undyings into a crystal ball, and then detonated it, causing countless amounts of Fire Undyings to explode. It was similar to a Fire Undying's explosion. The theory was simple, however the technology involved was extremely high. After all, to compress such shocking amounts of Fire Undying God energy into an Undying crystal and then continue compressing it into an energy crystal that was tens of millions of times stronger, the technology involved was simply too high. 1129 Model Fire God Crystal, it was a low-level one, its explosive power was equivalent to a normal Fire Undying exploding. As a disposable item, if one had the means to buy it, its price would be between 1 to 1.5 million mixed elements. My soul slave used the Fire God Crystal and immediately exploded, because at the start when my 10 Sector Lord Guards were dealing with Kosil, I swiftly fled. When the Fire God Crystal exploded, I was already tens of thousands of km away. Luo Feng said respectfully, the explosion killed that Fire Undying too. I managed to escape. To hide the Golden Horned Beast's existence, Luo Feng relied on his world projection when the battle ended, swiftly collecting the scattered flesh and scales of the Golden Horned Beast into his internal world. After careful consideration, Luo Feng came up with such an excuse, using the Fire God Crystal to explain everything, using the Sector Lord slave he controlled to execute this move to explain everything. Luo Feng stood there respectfully waiting for the knight to speak. The knight finally nodded. I will record everything you have said and send it to the security management system of the Wulong Starfield. As for your matter, the other 5 Emperor-level Undyings will discuss and decide. At this time, the space in the distance rippled and in an instant, a universe ship appeared out of nowhere. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, that was Long K Emperor's universe ship. Wah! The cabin door opened and Long K brought Dylan along, becoming a beam of light and arriving. Knight. Long K bowed respectfully. Dylan bowed too. I'll leave the matters here to the 5 of you to handle. As for everything Luo Feng has said in my analysis, I've already sent it to the Wulong Starfield's AI. The knight said coldly, after which he vanished, immediately teleporting and disappearing from sight. In space only Luo Feng, Longju Emperor and Dylan stood. Your Majesty, are you all right? Dylan asked, his eyes filled with self-blame. The ancestor told me to protect you but... Dylan, this isn't your fault. Luo Feng shook his head. Long K said, this isn't Dylan's fault, neither is it Luo Feng's fault. It's our Wulong Starfield's internal problems, looks like a spy from another race has infiltrated. Normally when a human absolute genius was assassinated, most would say it was the work of a spy. Actually, some geniuses died due to internal conflicts and feuds within the human race. However, as long as it wasn't discovered, it would all be pushed to the spy. Who did it? Long Ke looked at Luo Feng. Wu Long Starfield internal member Kosil. Luo Feng said. Long Ke nodded, surveying the space around him. A formless undying energy emanated in all directions, sweeping past the distant broken bug corpses. After inspecting for a while he said, "There's actually quite a few cloud contact vine corpses. It's my support plant life form," Luo Feng said. The losses this time aren't small. Long Ke creased his eyebrows. "We actually lost over 1,000 sector Lord Bug corpses. If this battle had happened in the domain Lord Bug corpses area, the losses would have been much smaller. We've lost over 10 million mixed elements. Then this matter is going to be troublesome." Troublesome? Luo Feng looked at him. Long Ke looked at Luo Feng, nodding. "Right, even though you informed me that someone wanted to kill you, however, the 2 guides that followed you and that killer Kosil are all dead. Dead, there's no way to prove anything. If one is alive, we can still search his soul to see the truth. However, if they're all dead, there's no way to confirm anything. Assuming our Wu Long Starfield's losses are small, less than 1 million mixed elements, I alone can easily handle it. However, right now, it's up to the 5 people in charge to handle it. Because there's no way to prove anything, Luo Feng, you might be in trouble."